when the Devils score goals, they generally win. I mean,
Yes.
Scoring has been an issue in that 5-game losing streak not too long ago. They had 1 goal in 4 of them, and they were shut out in the other. Then they start scoring goals, and they string some wins together. Shut out the other night, and they score 4 against Calgary, but Chico Resch, they lose by a score of 5-4.
But, Matty, they didn't score first.
Nope.
They didn't score second.
Nope.
And that's the killer, too. You know, it's both scoring and getting the early lead, especially at home. Crowds here, okay, let's go. We'll help you, propel you along. We'll be all fired up. But when you go down 2-0, everything sags. And they did come back. Let's see. But they never did tie it, did they?
No.
That's
They would get close, and Calgary would withstand any charge that the Devils had, and then they would push forward, and in the end, a 5-4 victory for the visitors from Alberta. Let's check out some highlights of this game as these teams meet for the second and final time of the season. Side note here, with all due respect to how difficult it is to put a schedule together, 32 teams, 82 games, buildings are being used for other purposes. I don't know if Calgary or LA on Saturday, Western teams should be traveling to the East Coast this late in the season when games could be critical. Not so much for Calgary. LA's battling for a playoff spot.
Oh, I agree, Matty, and that's never been a consideration. I don't think it ever will. It's however the schedule is going to fall. Next year, as you know, 2 more league games are going to be played. That's the only thing that I don't like. We talked the Rangers and the Devils only play 3 times. That's not right. We should at least play 4. Come on. I mean, the Islanders 4. I don't think the fans are saying, we didn't get to see Seattle this year or because we played the Rangers again. But I get the big picture, but like you said, with the schedule, some of it defies logic. It does.
So it is a visitor from the West coming east to take on the Devils, and Calgary, as Chico mentioned just a moment ago, able to strike first. Jack Hughes goes cross ice. The pass deflects away. And now quickly up ahead. It's a 2-on-1 for Calgary. Here's Beecher. He scores. John Beecher low far side on Jacob Markstrom gives Calgary the 1-0 lead. Beecher's second of the season, and he's been spending some time on the injured list, been spending some time in the American Hockey League. Beecher playing just his 31st game of the season, but what a night he had.
Well, you know, Devils were really blitzing the Flames early, and then all of a sudden, what happens? A 2-on-1. One of the forwards pinched down when they shouldn't have. They were actually supposed to be back on a D up. And then 2-on-1, and he looks across. He could have passed. He only had, 2 goals coming in?
One.
And then he rips it far side over the pad and hit on the blocker of Markstrom in the net. You didn't see that coming, and you kind of said, what just happened there?
5:04 the time of the goal. Beecher from Gridden, and Calgary takes a lead that they would not relinquish for John Beecher, his first goal since October, again injured and down in the minors, things like that.
Yeah.
But at any rate, it makes it 1-0, and it stayed that way despite the fact that the Devils would make a bit of a push. However, it was a former Devil, Kevin Ball, who made this 2-0. Now Klapka to the blue line. Mata moves in with a shot that goes wide, bounces off the boards. Ball wearing an A. He's one of the assistant captains. Keeps it alive, and now he drives one in, and they score, and it goes off the stick of Paul Cotter, and it's a 2-0 Calgary lead. At 14:07, Kevin Ball, who played in 148 games for the Devils with his 4th goal of the season. The assists went to Olli Mata and Adam Klapka. And it wasn't so much the long tip, because that happened, but they were able to move the puck pretty easily, side to side, down low, out high, and the Devils were running around a little bit.
Well, they were, Matty, and if the Devils had scored, if Cotter had scored the goal for his team, you'd have said, oh, gorgeous tip. Because it was a gorgeous tip, but unfortunately for Paul Cotter, it went in the wrong goal.
So the Devils are down 2-0, but a couple of minutes later, they crack the seal. Here's a loose puck, and Siplikov buries it. First goal as a Devil for Maxim Siplikov, and the Devils are on the board. And first point on the primary assist for Nick Bjugstad at 16-14, and indeed the Devils were on the board.
Yeah, well, Wolf let it go through his legs and upstairs, so you think, well, maybe he's going to struggle a little bit. Devils are only down 2-1. Let's see what happens.
And shortly thereafter, a minute 23 later, Joel Hanley is given a double minor for a high stick on Jack Hughes. Got him right in the teeth. I mean, Jack's teeth have just been whacked, smacked, and knocked out.
No, he doesn't have a mouth guard, I don't think, does he? Because I thought guys were supposed to wear a mouth guard. Not that it mattered. I'm not going to question that, but I don't think so. Anyway, doesn't matter. He got hit in the face again, and that's why he's getting cut.
Yeah.
Lips against the teeth. Not a good thing, Matty, with a stick on the other side of it.
No, of course, we know in the Olympics he wound up scoring the golden goal and that beautiful smile with the flag draped over his shoulder. Tonight, though, he didn't miss a shift. The Devils go to work on the power play. They don't score on the first half of the power play, and so it carries over into the second period. But we're going to call this the Prudential Play of the Game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner. What could have been a tied game turned out to be a 2-goal deficit. Jack lofts one for Pratt, a little out of his reach. He recovers in the corner, banks one toward the blue line, but Nico Hischier came cutting to his right, and the puck went to his left. So the Devils have to regroup in the neutral zone. A takeaway by John Beecher. Beecher moving in, shot, save made by Markstrom. No, it rolls past them and in. It was the second effort by Beecher, and what happened on the play was Dougie Hamilton dropped a pass kind of casually toward Jack Hughes. Jack is reaching for it. Doesn't quite get there because I don't know that he sees Beecher coming from his left, kind of out of his field of vision. At any rate, Beecher picks it up. And what a night for John Beecher, the shorthanded goal, his first career 2-goal game, 36 seconds in, made it 3-1. That was the play of the game, brought to you by Prudential, the Devils' official financial services partner.
And it was the play of the game because it was a big goal, and it was really unusual. He's on the right side. Markstrom goes down, cuts down the shooting angle with the butterfly, but the puck goes right back to Beecher. He's behind the goal line. He's going to go behind the goal line. He sees the puck. So he whacks the puck, not into the net, off the back of the skate of Markstrom and into the net. Bad break, but a big goal.
So it was 3-1, 36 seconds into the second. 1 minute later, still on the power play. Well, the Devils with some more life. Here's Luke across the line, far circle, cuts in front, backhand shot, save, rebound, they score! Puck landed in the crease. It was tucked home by Shimo Nemitz. And the Devils with a power play goal, and it's 3-2. Puck in the crease, Nemitz in the crease.
Exactly. I know. And Luke Hughes made a great play to get there. He's almost in the crease. And who set it up? Jacob Markstrom. So that was a very unusual goal.
Markstrom picking up the secondary assist, his 4th assist of the season. That ties the Devils' record. Marty Brodeur did it 6 times in his career, but Markstrom with the secondary, Luke Hughes the primary, Shimo Nemitz his 10th at 136, and once again the Devils are within a goal, but they couldn't withstand their good fortune, couldn't find a way to get a little momentum from another goal. Instead, it was another former Devil who extended the lead once more to 2. Here comes Calgary across the line. Sharangovich in. He scores. It was a 2-on-1. Strome and Sharangovich, and the former Devil with the backhand goal. 2 former Devils have scored for Calgary, and they lead 4-2. The only ex-Devil on the Calgary roster who did not score, Blake Coleman. That made it 4-2 at 16:48. Yegor Sharangovich his 14th. Ryan Strome, the primary assist. Freddie Olofsson, it was Victor Olofsson with the secondary assist. That made it 4-2. Michael Backlund would score in the third to make it 5-2. Devils mounted the threat. Jack Hughes and his brother Luke scoring at 9:37, 19:56 respectively. For Luke Hughes, a power play goal. But that's it. Devils fall 5-4.
Well, falling just a little short, Matty, has been part of their problem. You know, the other thing is, Matt, is when we're complimenting and say the Devils are finding a way to win, we mean it. But I got to tell you right now, they're finding a way to lose. And that's killing them.
Yeah, and they dropped at 32, 31-2 with the defeat tonight. They remain with 66 points. Let's check in with the goalie tonight, Jacob Markstrom.
The frustration level, just knowing that you guys have to sort of get on a roll here, and we've talked about it a lot, and just to not be able to do that after a couple days off here.
Yeah, it's obviously high. It's that's a game we need to win, and yeah, it's a tough one.
You sometimes scratch your head with some of the bad bounces. I mean, it seems like the puck went off a stick, goes up high, and one comes behind you. It's like...
Yeah, I mean, good things happen when you throw pucks at the net, and, bad things happen when the other team throws pucks at the net. And, that's kind of how it's been going a little bit, and, I still feel like we obviously score 4 at home, and, the last goal is a tough one. You're going to have that and, give the guys a chance to claw and scratch back after, not very good 40 minutes. And, we did that. And, obviously falling short by 1 is, it's a tough one.
Jake, how are you feeling after 7 straight starts?
Yeah, we had 3 days since I played. Good.
Thank you, guys.
And that's it, Jacob Markstrom speaking to the media. And, yeah, it is disappointing as a goalie. You can attest, right? There was a save he wanted to make, and then
it was the
scored
last one.
Yeah.
And, he's a butterfly goalie, but he's a stand-up goalie there answering those. And nobody – see, they're all afraid to ask him. And there was a deflection, wasn't his fault. Really, the only one he knows, and he said the last goal he should have had. Mm-hmm. And that's the one that goes through the arm and the body. But, Wolf at the other end, who was terrific, he gave a 5-hole. I'm just saying, folks, here's what goalies really believe. Pucks that go through them should have been stopped. Pucks that go by them, good shot or whatever. And unfortunately, the 5th goal turned out to be the winner, and it was shot through the arm and body of Jake, and he wanted it back, but he can't have it back.
No, and his record falls to 19-16-1, a former Calgary Flame.
Oh, yeah.
Now 6-12-0 lifetime against his former team. The captain, Nico Hischier, spoke with the media. Let's hear what he had to say.
The level of disappointment, you guys have, a few days off from games, sort of regain yourself, and then just not able to, compete the way I'm sure you would have wanted to here.
Yeah, it wasn't good enough. I think we got too many of our shots blocked. I think we were not hard enough in our own zone, and even if we had the puck more, like we gave up those big chances that we talk about now, then they make us pay, and that's the game.
Is it frustrating knowing, you fight your whole way back, but you dig yourself a hole?
Yes, it is.
And what has to change with that?
We can't shoot ourselves in the foot anymore. If we're not scoring, we can't give it up. We can't give up 2-on-1s and leave our goalies alone back there. That's just not a recipe. That's got to change.
There's a lot of firepower in this room. You would think you get down by a deficit that you believe that you can come back. That there's no lead that's unsafe.
No, we obviously believed. It's not like we didn't believe, but when we had a push, we had like good pushes in the game, and then all of a sudden we give up a 2-on-1, and that stuff can happen.
Just when you sort of look where you guys are in the schedule here, you're running out of time, right? And so, like, how frustrating, I don't know if maybe that's even the right word, do you feel right now with where things are?
Just looking for the next game. Next game is most important, and it sucks, obviously. I hate losing, but you got to move on, and we got to be ready for the next game now, and we know we got to win some games here, and let's do or die.
Captain Nico Hischier, and it's a refrain that we've heard throughout the season for the most part. There are times when they don't score goals, and that's frustrating. There are times like tonight where they give up goals, and there have been odd man rushes, and the one that I think of is the one where Nemitz takes the puck into the zone, and he goes deep. So what does a forward do? Jesper Brett. He does. But then as the puck goes, now Jesper's at the right point, as the puck goes toward the left wall as he's facing it, and Brendan Dillon had backed out a little bit to center ice because he can see that there's some trouble. He's not going to pinch in. He's going to back up. That's what defensemen do, or mostly do. But the forward comes across trying to get to the puck, not even close, and it's a 2-on-1. So that seems to me that's hockey 101.
Well, it is, Matty. And here's the thing in hockey. You've got to understand when there's danger. That's all you got to do. When you understand, it's like in life, if there's danger, you better become aware. You better be thinking. So tonight, they just didn't seem to be aware of all the dangers that some of the plays they were making. And Nico talked about it, but he's not saying exactly what it is. Because what do you say? Yeah, we got to move on. These are good players making these mental mistakes. And you don't want to point fingers, but somewhere along the line, Matty, if they don't cut out some of these ridiculous mistakes, they're not going to win. And that's what's happening the last 2 games.
Nico Hischier said they keep shooting themselves in the foot. Let's hear what the head coach has to say.
But, yeah, I mean, you can't have that much puck time and, you know, nothing to show for it in terms of a goal or even much in terms of chances. But the end result can't be a 2-on-1. You know, I meant rush the other way. So, you know, that was very poorly managed, that portion. And now it's just like in Detroit, now you're playing from behind. You know, so I thought that was really kind of where it started. And then obviously the power play, you know, I thought the power play was great at the end of the first period. You know, did pretty much everything but score. Pace was good. It was, you know, liked a lot about it. But the way you come out, you know, give up a shorthanded goal, you know, to start the second period, which essentially nullifies the power play goal we end up getting. That's a tough moment in the game too. But you know, overall, we just I didn't think we defended nearly hard enough when it was time to defend. We didn't have to defend a lot today, but when it was time to, we weren't nearly good enough. Goaltending wasn't good, you know, and it took us too long to get really going offensively.
So when you see a team like respond and come back and cut the deficit, like, are you sitting there going, why isn't that happening earlier, or is it just, is that frustrating for you?
No, I mean, it's, yeah, another team with a big lead, they're going to sit back. I mean, history of the game would tell you that, you know, the team that's trailing is going to, you know, work their way back and have momentum and all that kind of stuff, so I don't read too much into that.
We were just talking to Jack, and, you know, he kind of stood there and took a little bit of responsibility. His line on the ice, I think, for 4 goals against, if I have that right. You know, what did you see from, whether it was the combination, how they were playing? Like, what did you see?
Just a lot of very sloppy play. Man, until Jack shot the puck in the net, I don't know if he handled one puck clean. You know, the whole game, it was just rolling off his stick, and so just wasn't clean. That line wasn't clean on offense, and then, you know, as part of it, when it's time to defend, and just didn't defend well, right? I mean, the first goal against is a scoring opportunity one way, nothing to show for it. 2-on-1 the other way, like that's can't win hockey games like that.
Sheldon, I know that there was, you know, you had the time between games and stuff like that. But was there any second guesses to Markstrom, you know, to starting him for a 7th straight game tonight?
I mean, no question. There was no second guessing or questioning for this one. I mean, this one to me is obvious. It was, you know, 4 days between games. It was obviously how we handled it before coming into this, but this one's a no-brainer. You know, you got a goalie that had won 4 in a row for us, and it was in a good groove, and, you know, have 1 loss, but then you got 4 days, you know, come back at it, 96 hours, whatever, and to me that's a no-brainer. You know, to put him in here today. It's more the previous games. Our decision is to play him in the back-to-backs is really where that adds up. But this one is tonight is a no-brainer. Yeah, thanks.
Short time at the podium for Sheldon Keefe tonight, and really not much you can say. I mean, it's this late in the season. Things happen. You wonder why there's an odd man rush. You wonder why a guy pinches. You wonder why there's a lackadaisical play at center ice that leads to a shorthanded goal that takes any momentum away at the start of the second period. But unfortunately, we've seen that a few times.
I know. And, you know, you're talking to the coach. Any second guessing about starting Markstrom? Well, he had 4 game-winning streak. Now he's had 4 days off. Go ask him. No, for us, why would we be second guessing ourselves? Why? After the fact? No. Ask the goalie and leave it at that, because he doesn't know. I think starting Mark, you and I were talking about it. That was a smart move. Guy's been hot. He's been hungry. Play him. playing against this old team, right, Maddie?
Mm-hmm.
So don't say stuff like second guessing then. I don't know, Matt. You cannot be as loose defensively as we were tonight and win. And was that the opponent a little bit? I don't know. You never know about hockey. The Devils were so dominant the first 3 minutes. I thought they're just going to control this game. I mean, that's me. I'm not down on the ice. But obviously, if you got too into that, you might forget about the defensive side of the puck, and that's what happened. There were some glaring mistakes defensively, and a couple of them ended up into the Devils' net.
And the Devils did pay the price, as you heard Amanda Stein say while speaking with Sheldon Keefe. Jack Hughes spoke about his line's responsibility. Let's hear from the man himself.
Jack, just a case of maybe digging a hole and then trying to fight out of it?
Yeah, obviously hard to win when you give up 5, so probably the story of the night.
What did you think about the way you guys responded and tried to get back into it?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, give up 5, you dig yourself a big hole. So just tough game out of us.
Obviously, response is one thing, but what sort of led to them, maybe what you guys were doing to allow them to sort of break through there?
Yeah, what do you mean?
Yeah, like for them to build their lead, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think, well, I know that my line was on for first 4, so that's on us, just, probably not being tight enough, so yeah, just frustrating loss.
Do you think that that's just sort of getting used to the three of you playing together again? I know you played a lot, obviously, with both, or is it just a matter of circumstance?
No, just, I mean, probably just not a great night out of us, and it is what it is, so.
Jack, it's been tough this year when you guys get behind, but there's a lot of firepower in this locker room. Is there any reason that maybe you haven't had that magic?
Yeah, I mean, you look at our team, we're like 30th in the league in goals, so, we're not going to win by outscoring teams, and, that's been pretty obvious through 65 games here, so we just, like I said, we can't give up 5, and that's what we gotta do.
Big picture on this season, just how frustrating has it been for you, especially as as a leader of the team, just trying to steer the team through these struggles.
Yeah, I mean, definitely not in the spot we want to be in right now, but we got 17 hockey games to go, or 16, whatever it is, and we just got to take it a game at a time and try to put our best foot forward, and that's all we got to do. I mean, the 65 games are behind us now, and we just got to focus on what's ahead.
Jack, earlier, I guess you reached out to the USA baseball team to give them a little pump up. Just talk about why you thought that would be big them playing Canada tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't for that game, People like just make stuff up. That was before the tournament. Just reached out, and I'm a big baseball fan, and they reached out, and I've been tuned in, so it's as simple as that. But it was before the tournament.
A baseball note to end the hockey conversation.
I don't know. That's where we're going off the rails, Matty, when we're ending the show with the baseball talk.
Well, and there was a report today that he had sent something. Mark DeRosa, the American manager, said, Jack sent something in advance of our playing an elimination game against Canada. And then Jack saying, well, that's not it. I sent it before the tournament started.
Is that what interesting?
Yeah.
Get the facts right.
No, why do that? That gets in the way of a good story.
Isn't that the truth? Don't let the facts get in the way of a good story. I always love that.
But the fact is, the Devils lose by a score of 5-4. LA next in the house on Saturday night. Game you'll hear here.
And I have no clue.
Jersey kid, LaFerriere.
Oh yeah, LaFerriere.
Alex LaFerriere.
Okay. But here's what I will say, Maddie. I don't know what this team is going to look like come next fall when they open. Okay, I don't know. But here's what I do know. I don't want to hear any more about this team playing together and being a team. They didn't play like a team tonight. So that's what we're all looking for as fans. Could you at least start to implement how you're going to win next year by playing really good in the defensive zone. You know, it's frustrating because they're saying one thing, but what they're doing on the ice is something entirely different. And don't ask me whose fault it is. I know at the top of the show, you asked Sheldon Keefe, you're putting Bratt and Hughes back together, right? And he raved about why that is going to be good. How was that tonight?
On for the first 4 against.
Bingo. I'm just saying, I don't know what it is, but this team is not seemingly getting the message when they're playing. I mean, they're not implementing the message. I'm not saying they're not getting the message, because I know Sheldon and the coaches or staff's doing that, but they're not implementing it when they hit the ice, and that's why they gave up the first 2 goals again tonight.
And lose 5-4, and they'll try to put that plan into action and hopefully execute it a little better on Saturday against LA. Again, the game you'll hear here on the Devils Hockey Network.